Okay guys, so for today's vlog, I really want to talk about programming. There is something I'm really proud of this week is how I'm going about going through a new program I created for myself. And there's lots of intricacies that I think people just don't talk about in daily training, especially when it comes to people who are fitness influencers, although they are getting better for sure. That I'm going to talk about today when it comes to initiating, writing a program, and then actually executing it. And the thing I'm really proud of that I'm going to speak about today is actually taking the time to rest and adapting my program throughout the week to not compromise my performance. And it's a little bit counterintuitive to what all of us feel and think. So I want to talk about that today. I'm going to try and keep it short. Also today, which I'm going to repeat on other vlogs, considering I have virtually no following, and I think it's useful to have an introduction to what I am doing and the purposes of these vlogs. The format is going to be basically, and of course you can fast forward this because I'll always bookmark it every video for now. The format is basically going to be 2 videos a week. One like this, which is a vlog of me driving to the gym and downloading some thoughts. It's going to be unfiltered. I'm going to make mistakes, but I think this is like the reality of working out. Someone who's done it for a lifetime and who now coaches it part-time because I do other stuff as well, and how I make it all fit around a busy lifestyle. I am a former finance professional. I still dabble in doing finance work at the moment. Actually, I'm considering taking a head of finance role 3 days a week and then figuring out what I do the rest of the week, which you might be thinking is 2 days a week, but there's 7 days in a week. So yeah, I tend to work quite a lot of them, considering what I do is definitely something that I enjoy, so it feels less like work. So the format is going to be, so let's get down to it. Format is going to be me vlogging like this, driving to the gym, downloading some thoughts and some lessons, and I hope you can listen to these. I hope also if you like these videos, they feel like a workout partner. They feel like someone just sharing, a friend or anything, or coach, whatever you want to call it, a part of their lifestyle. Not telling you what to do, but telling you what's useful for me, and you can choose to take that away. I think too many videos today are cut in a way that's really attractive to engage and hold your attention, but I don't find I take a huge amount away from these. So I might repeat myself, but like I said, these are just some download vlogs. The second video I want to produce every week, if I can, is going to be a little bit more formal. So I'll do this in a more structured way, sit down, actually talk about some things that I'm talking about during the vlog, where I can show you things that are useful. The second vlog is going to be a side of my personality which I think is useful, which I've had to cultivate. I am far more of a free spirit, someone who just enjoys training without programs, without writing too much stuff down, etc, etc. But that being said, I do like the other side too, but it is something that has to be a little bit more forced, and I have gained in my lifetime the rewards from embracing and growing that side of my personality. And I really do believe, whether you're a creative person or a little bit more on the, I don't know, logical, professional side of things, you need to have both to succeed in anything that you really want to do. And that's going to be my second video for the week, which is going to be sit down in front of a camera, more formal, and I can share with you things that I can't share with you when I'm just talking to a camera while I'm driving to the gym. So there we go. I want to try and keep these videos to around 5 minutes and share at least one useful thing with you. And today's is going to be execution of a program. So recently I have been talking, if I have posted those vlogs, about me executing a program. I did week 1 2 weeks ago. I'm now into week 3, and what I found was in week 2 I had already realized that I'd made a couple of errors. In week 1 I have a capacity to just do extra stuff, and I went to a spin class, and long story short, spin classes are really not what I used to think, what they used to be. They're kind of more catered towards a workout on a bike now rather than actually cycling. And I'd already done a heavy amount of work on my wrist that day, but the thing that pushed it over the edge was doing some exercises that I really don't think should be done on a bike during this class, and it just ruined my forearm. So that affected my programming for handstands, for weighted dips, for muscle ups, all sorts. So in week 2 I was shifting things around. So workout 1 for the week, I pulled out bits that I could and did workouts for workout 2, which would have been second day of the week. I did those on the first day. So I was just really adapting the programming around this minor injury that I picked up. So I'm quite proud of that, because it's that mentality that I also have, that other people have, that you feel like you failed or you haven't achieved something when you don't hit your program exactly, or when you maybe even don't progress every week, which again is a bit too much of an expectation to have all the time. So last week I was just picking out bits and bobs to prioritize my wrist, and the one thing that I really loved, I'm really excited about, is this narrative in my head that popped in, which was, do I trust myself? Now, I ruptured my Achilles a year ago, pretty much today, a year ago last week, and it was completely my fault. It was supposed to be a bit of a rest week, and I had worked out harder that week than any other week I had. Maybe thinking I'd rest the following week and I'd just try and push myself in that final week as much as I could. I was doing way too much. I was rock climbing, which was a bit of a new thing for me. I was still practicing handstands when you come down and also land quite heavily at times on your feet. And of course, as the better you get, the less heavy you land. And also my climbing gym had a parkour area, and that day I just decided to jump over a bar a few times, something I used to do back in the day. This time I did it in barefoot shoes, so my foot and my feet, my legs were taking the brunt of everything. And I've obviously yeared down the path, doing a lot of recovery, and the narrative I'm trying to embrace is, do I trust myself? And that is requiring me to step a little bit away from this sort of really popular mentality and the parts of the self-development world, which are just to ignore how you feel, and that when you get to your kind of point where you feel tired and you can't push on, that's apparently, some people have quoted, 30% of your capacity you can really push further, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but I think there's aspects of your training where you can do that, where the risk of injury is lower, such as something like running, potentially. There's loads of caveats that go into that, and it depends on your history with running and injuries. And then something else really more explosive, like jumping over a bar, playing explosive sports, all sorts of stuff. And the question is, do I trust myself? And what I am now focusing on is, before the workouts, to say, does it feel like this would be something to train even though it's tired, and it would be better for me, it would train that sort of resilience of that muscle group? Because I don't always want to avoid training when something feels a bit tired, but also assessing sometimes when that risk is too great. And if you're someone that's achieved in life, if you're someone that's trained when you were younger, you know that your ability to push through and absorb pain has provided rewards in the past. Whilst that's also true, once you enter working life and there's other things where you might be actually training more so and to a higher level than you ever have done in your life, you have to ask your question, do I trust myself? And the answer to that, if it's yes, is that when you need to rest and you feel like something might be getting close to injury, that you're going to listen to your body and rest in some sort of way. And for me last week, that was pulling out different workouts. For this week, my wrist actually feels a lot better. One thing I did feel also was my shoulder tightening up a little bit. And I think this was due to me going back to doing some chest work, which I haven't done for a very long time. And so fucking hell. So I am doing a lot of introspection, and I am being patient with myself, not increasing the weights too fast, letting my tendons and ligaments, which take longer to recover than your muscle groups do, because your muscles are provided with so much greater blood flow, and tend to recover significantly quicker, including your bones. So I'm just taking my time, and I'm thinking about the long game. And the really important thing to note, which I heard Peter Attia say on a podcast recently, is that training is unbelievably good for your health. We all know it, your mental health, your physical health. But the one thing we should take into account is the time out. And things go backwards quicker than they do forwards. So sometimes taking that rest, prioritizing not getting injured over trying to get that next PR or take that next very small step forward, because once you do start to see gains, after you get good at something, the gains become incrementally smaller and require significantly more energy. So by prioritizing yourself and niggle points and not getting injured, you are making the best decision for yourself. And like I said, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't it feels counterintuitive for those achievers out there who just blew through everything in their youth and getting their head down and just working hard and ignoring the pain to a certain degree paid off. I think as we get older, and I don't want to use age here as a factor, because for me, again, it's not something I really think about because I train so much, and I've seen a lot of people talk about age, but honestly, the people that talk about age are also the people that don't or have given up training. So, and again, Peter Attia actually talked about something on one of his podcasts recently, which was to say that you can maintain muscle and performance as you get older. You just have to keep up with training, so it doesn't just hang around for you. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Parking up, I'm going in the gym. The narrative being, do I trust myself? And if I do, and I've actually applied this in other parts of my life, which may be a conversation for another day, not to do with fitness, but it just means making better decisions for myself, which feel counterintuitive, but I know to be true. So I'm pretty proud of that, because it means chopping and changing things around. This week I'm actually doing the same thing, and I'm going to do a deload week, which is a conversation maybe for another day because this was already too long. But a deload week is just taking down the weights, so reducing your load by around 50%. So you could do 50% of the reps that you're used to during the week, or just decreasing the weights by 50%. And I'm hoping to do that this week, although again, I find it really hard to do this because that progress mindset just doesn't agree with this. And trying to do that this week, execute, and then in week 4, I would like to go back to normal training, and I hope the results of the better thought out training will be there in the product in week 4. I am really, as you can tell, struggling to get used to the idea of the fact that I will execute it here in week 3 to deload. And if I do deload, I'm going to have extra energy for other muscle groups that I'm maybe not targeting as much, or that are well rested. So I'm going to do other bits and bobs on those days too. I brought boxing gloves with me today. I've got a few other exercises I want to throw in to my deload week. So yeah, I'll keep you posted.